Hi guys, it's Inspirational Nails, and as you see in front of me I have the Uberchic mat, which is such an amazing product that has come out. But I wanted to show you guys an alternative besides, going out and buying the Uberchic mat, because it's comes out to about 20 bucks, and if you want to be able to find a cheaper way or a cheaper version of the Uberchic mat, I do want to show you a few things that I have found in order to make kind of your own Uberchic mat. So I'm really excited because I did show a haul, and I showed one thing, and then I have something else to show you guys today that I think you guys are going to be so excited. I love finding things like this. I love finding things that are comparison to or really close to another product, or to make something easier in the nail world, because I know, especially when I began, and still I try to find things that are more affordable than to actually buy it full price. I'm always trying to look for the deal, people, always. So right here you see that I have the mat, and the mat is of a silicone base, okay, where it's easy to paint on and remove the decals from the nails, okay. So it is really easy to work on. But I have found two things that you can get, and one of them is what I showed on my haul video. And this is from the Dollar Tree. Now, it's a set of two, so there's actually two of them. They're flexible chopping mats, and this one is the clear one, okay? I honestly haven't seen them in color on the chopping mats. They might have them in different colors, but the only ones that they had, which is the clear one. The clear one, I think it's the better one, only because in order to really make this work, you want to be able to put the template, print it on a piece of paper. You can even draw it on a piece of paper, in order so that you can make the template so that you can see it. And what I mean by that is, I'm just going to put this to the side. Okay, if you have a piece of paper that you actually draw this exact type of image, or even something better, maybe different shapes of nails, maybe wider depending on your nails, it just depends on what you like. So that when you put the paper underneath, just pretend like this is not the mat, just pretend this is a piece of paper. You can take this here, which is one of the chopping mats, and as you see, I've already even started putting clear coat on the actual fingers using the actual Uberchic as a template, okay? So very simple. And as you see, when I pull it up, you can see the shiny areas, and these are already fully dry, okay? And I already did a template that you can see. Let me see if you can pick up this image better. Come on. I don't know why it's just not picking up that image. It's like, come on. It refuses to focus here. This is crazy. Okay, there we go. I'm like, okay, it's not picking it up at all. Okay, so there's the image, and as you see, I even painted a little bit of the image, and I put a top coat on top, and that was just working like super fast, okay? Now, I'm going to show you guys how I did this, okay? But I do want to show you kind of, before I actually do this, how easy it is to just remove the actual template, the actual image off the board, okay? What you're going to need, you definitely are going to need some type of tweezers. I would recommend using one of these. These are like the cuticle pushers. They're great because they're plastic, they're soft, and it's not going to damage, the plastic, even though I really use this for the silicone one because it's silicone, and I don't want to you know, make any dents in it, especially when you're using tweezers and stuff, because some of them can be very sharp. So, you know, I use this as to kind of pull the image, and I will zoom in here a little bit and just pull this down so you can see. What I do is, see how it's automatically already starting to lift from the side. Once I have where it's already lifting up there, I just take the tweezer and I would pull it off gently, very gently, so that the whole thing comes off in one piece. And as you see, because it's been sitting there a little bit, it's already like dry, that it's almost coming off on its own. So that's a good thing. So I'm just gonna kind of put it back down. It's already loose because I just pulled it off, but I just want to leave it there for a moment before we go ahead and put it on a nail. Now, I'm gonna, in order to kind of see those shiny areas, I have to lift it off so I can line it up here, okay? So here's the one next to it right here, okay? Now it already has the base coat, which let me tell you what I use for a base coat and why. The one I like to use is this one here by Podge, which is the base coat. Why? Because it actually dries really fast, and when I do decals or when I do my nails on myself, it's about how fast I can get them done. I just don't spend that much time on my nails. I do spend time on my nails, but I like to go fast when I'm doing my nails. You know, I don't, you know, want to take too much time because I have 2 little girls that I have to run behind. But I used the Podge base coat on here, and then once it dries, you'll go ahead and stamp on your image. And then once you stamp on the image, you want to give it a little bit to dry, okay? So I'm going to use the plate. This plate here is by Moyu London, is the Suki collection number 9. And as you see, I just used the paper, you know, what do you call these? Those light paper lights that they have. So pretty. And that's what I used, okay? So I think I'm going to try to use the tiger right now, okay? And I'm just going to get my stamper, okay? Which I'm just gonna, oops, sorry about that. I'm just gonna back up a little bit, okay? And I want you to be able to see me stamp it. I gotta keep it lined up with the finger so I know where the image is. Okay, so now I'm going to use my black. Okay, and I'm gonna use this tiger right here. All right. I am using my Creative Shop scraper. Okay, going to stamp the image. There is the tiger. Look at him. Oh, come on. Come on. Look at him. Isn't he gorgeous? Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so now I'm going to stamp it. Okay, kind of waited a little bit too long because I was trying to show you. And, but that's okay. I think I got him. I think I got his face. Okay, so now that I've stamped him, let me move in close so you can see him. There he is right there, okay? So now I want to go ahead and I'm just going to put some color on him. I'm just going to use this here by Sally Hansen. It is the Vitamin Delight. It's one of those jellies. And it's pink, but it's just so that you can kind of get an idea. And I'm just going to highlight his face right there. Okay. Okay, I kind of got it on the flowers too, so let's go a little bit there. This little fish that's on the bottom. Highlight the fish. Maybe I'll go in with blue. This is from Santee. and it's a blue glow in the dark, but it's kind of watery as well, or jelly-like. Okay, so now you want to give this time to kind of dry a little bit. It won't take too long. I would give it probably a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And what I do use to top it is Seche Vite top coat over the whole thing. Now, I will tell you, if you're like me, I'm a very big fan of Seche Vite. In using this as for the base, like for your first layer, I would not recommend using the top coat. Why? Because it does not dry as fast, because it doesn't have any nail polish to penetrate for it to dry fast. So you want to be able to put this over nail polish, not use it as a base. That's why I use the Seche Vite base. And it dries quicker than most of the other ones that I use. I also like using the Wet n Wild one, and those you can find at the Dollar Tree, as the base coat, and that one works really well as well. The one I find, this one here, it is the Sally Hansen Hard as Nails. I like this one to use as for my nails, but for doing decals I don't, only because I noticed that it is difficult to remove, to lift it up. It takes a longer time to dry, and when you think it's dry, it's not, and when you start to remove it, it tears, because it does take longer to dry. So if you're patient enough to let it sit and really dry for a little bit, then by all means you want to use something like this, because this does, one of the things I do like about this, it does give a thick coat, but it takes longer to dry. And as I said, I have very little patience on some things. Okay, so now I think I can go ahead and top coat it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take, again, my Seche Vite top coat. And I'm just going to put it over the whole image here. Okay, so now that I got it over the full image there, we're just going to let that dry, okay, because I actually put a lot. And we're going to work on this one right here. So now that it's pretty much lifted off, I do have a nail that I have just painted. What did I use? I used this Wet n Wild. I've had this forever, and it's called Grey's Anatomy, but it's really pretty. It has like that gray, purple, green type of, it has like a chrome effect, like when they first started coming out. And but it's really pretty. As you see, it has kind of that purple, little bit of green in it. So what I want to do is, I'm removing this one because it's already dry and is already loose, okay? And you want to just kind of look where you want it to be on the nail, okay? Now, some people will just probably pat it on as best as possible and put top coat right on top. Now, I let it dry. It's already really dry, so I want to be able to put something to make it go down a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the base coat from Seche Vite, and I mean just a tiny bit, just to kind of, there we go, that's it, just 1, 2, 3, just so that it kind of gets down. And I'm just going to place it on the nail just like so, and just kind of flatten it out there so that the clear coat that I put on is used as an adhesive. Okay. Now, when you have this extra piece there, you can cut it off. I'm just smoothing it all out. Okay, and I'm just going to cut the excess that's from it. And you can always use a little bit of remover on the sides to kind of get what you didn't cut off. I'm hoping I'm not getting it on my image. Okay. Okay, there's still more to cut, but it's okay. So I'm just going to take my top coat, and I'm using my Sèche Vite top coat. And by putting the Sèche Vite, it's going to automatically kind of put itself where it needs to be. Okay, so now that it's top coated, I'm just pushing kind of the sides in. And there you go. Look at that. Actually, that came out really pretty, actually. Let me kind of get this to focus. But isn't that so pretty? It came out so good. Okay. So that's based on how to use this one here. And as you see, once this one dries, Sèche Vite dries pretty quickly, but I put a lot, so I'm not sure if it's dry yet. Normally, you can test it by putting your, usually if your finger kind of gives you can tell. That's the cool thing about this. When you lift it up, you can see how shiny it still is. It's still wet, so I don't want to mess with it yet. So I'll get back to this one in a minute. But this is the one that I said is the chopping mat, which will come back once that's dry. But I have another one. That's right. Okay. And I'm really excited because this is almost identical to the Uberchic mat. And I'm really excited for you to see this. Okay. So here is, let me back up. Okay. Uberchic mat. It's made out of a silicone base, as I mentioned before. So there is something you can buy that is a little bit more expensive than the chopping mat. It is the Podge silicone craft mat. That's right. Podge makes a silicone craft mat that is exactly like the Uberchic mat, and I have it right here to show you. And look at it. It is the same exact silicone material. It is a little bit smaller in width and a tiny bit smaller in length, but it's really not that much. Look at the length of it, which is not that much, probably a little bit more than an inch difference. Okay. Okay, and then on the bottom, it's even less, probably like a ½ inch from the bottom. So that's just to tell you that the mat, it's pretty big. And this is, it's 14, come on. Okay, it's 14.6 inches by 11.5 inches. And so it is a great size. Now, this I got at Michael's, and it comes folded into the pack. It does come, with a crease, because of being folded in. Just leave it out and let it sit on your table for a little bit. It'll start to, to even out and, take away any of those creases that it has. So don't get nervous when you see that. And as you see, I can even still use the Uberchic as a template, okay? Because, and as I said, all you have to do is print it on a piece of paper or draw your template on a piece of paper and put this right over it. And as you can see right through it, okay? So that's the great thing about this. And this one, since it is the same type of material, I mean, you can roll it up and put it away. So it's, the price is $10.99 at Michael's. But if you use a 50% coupon, which that's what I did, it is $5.50. So let me tell you, that is a great buy compared to 20 bucks that you would pay with Uberchic, and that's with shipping, okay? Because it's $14.99 plus $5 shipping. But if you want to do a lesser cost, $5.50 for an actual silicone type of mat, this is the way to go, okay? I think this is amazing, and it works exactly the same as the Uberchic. You would just put your top coat and use base coat, okay? Put base coat on the bottom layer, okay? You want to really stick with base coat. Top coat tends to, at least depending on which ones you use, either take longer to dry, especially the Sèche Vite, because it has no other nail polish to penetrate for it to dry, because you're using it as a base coat. Or sometimes the top coats tend to unstick itself really fast from the actual silicone surface. So you really want to use a base coat first, and then stamp your image, and then put top coat on the top. You can even still use base coat if that's what you have. So it really is an amazing find for a cheaper cost in order to have this, a mat like this in order to do decals, okay? So I bought this for a different purpose, which I don't even want to tell you what I'm going to do to it, but I'll show you later on in another video, okay? What I'm going to be doing with this mat. Okay, so that is the Mod Podge silicone mat, and I'm not going to pretty much show it because it's the same thing as the Uberchic mat. It really is, because it's the same exact material. So I do want to go back to my chopping mat. Okay, and here is my tiger, and I think it's done. Okay, so now as you see, I'm using this one here in order to pull off, to kind of get the edges, and you see there it is. It's already, oh, let me get closer, sorry guys. Okay, so you see it's already coming up. I found the edge, and now I'm going to take my tweezers, and one thing you want to do is pull it off gently, and it's not dry. See, it's not dry yet, so it's not wanting to cooperate. Yeah, it's not dry. As I said, I put a lot of Sèche Vite, and usually, maybe if I take it from the bottom, the middle part is not dry. Okay, here's the bottom part. See how the bottom part lifts up? The edges are dry, but this middle part, I put a lot, and it's just not dry, but see, it's not fully dry. So you're gonna have to give it, especially when you put different layers on it, the more layers you put, the more time it is going to take in order to dry. So I'm gonna probably give it another few minutes to dry, probably about a good 5 minutes, just to let it fully dry, because I did put a lot of the Sèche Vite top coat. And when you go around, as I said, I put it around where, not the base coat, the base coat, I only put it exactly to the size of the nail, okay? And if, as I said, if the top coat is on the surface, it's going to take a much longer time to dry. So when you're doing your base coat, make sure you do a good amount. Sometimes maybe make your templates a little bit bigger than what the Uberchic has, depending on what you're using as your base, okay? If that makes any sense, I hope it does, and I hope this does help you guys. I do want you guys to see me take this off, so I'm just going to give it a little bit, and I'll be back once it dries. Okay, so unfortunately it's like still I couldn't wait 5 minutes, unfortunately, but I've been messing with it so much that it kind of has distorted itself. But if you could see, you know, the edges are dry, but look, see, it's still not dry. And that's what you need to be careful about, is making sure that you give it the time that it needs to dry. As I said, when you're playing with shish vite, you know, Wet n Wild, I know the Wet n Wild works really, really well, but I couldn't find my Wet n Wild at the moment. I would have used that instead. But as I said, just be really, you know, when you're using it, just make sure that the drying process, maybe hit it with a fan if you need to make it dry faster. That probably will help when you're doing decals and if you're trying to do them right away. Or you can let them sit and give them a good enough time to dry before you pull them off. Okay, so we're just gonna leave this one right on there. And I'll show you this one here. It's all done and it's just really pretty. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this does give you a little bit of options in order to be a little bit more cheaper in using something as similar as the Uberchic mat. So until next one, bye guys!